Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to Articulate with Steve McJones. I am your host, Steve McJones, and I really like this episode. Going back and editing it, I laughed multiple times. My really good friend, Lucas Stengl, went deep into the history of Hunter S. Thompson and went into his whole life and went into everything about him. And I don't know, it's really fun. We have a good chemistry. He provides a lot of information about the dude. A lot of interesting. There's so much to know about Hunter S. Thompson is the thing, and his connection with Johnny Depp is just hilarious to me. He also wanted me to let you know to check out this documentary called Gonzo: The Life and Work of Dr. Hunter S. Thompson. Which is funny, you find out in this podcast that he was not actually a doctor, but he just liked to be referred to as Dr. Hunter S. Thompson, and referred to Johnny Depp as Captain Johnny Depp. Maybe because he was Captain Jack Sparrow. Who knows? Also, I wanted to read this thing to you about Hunter S. Thompson. It's an article titled "A Day with Thompson, Chivas, Dunhill's Coke." Hunter Thompson's daily routine is both predictable and outrageous, if not apocryphal. According to E. Jean Carroll's biography, Hunter, The Strange and Savage Life of Hunter S. Thompson. 3 p.m. Rise. 3:05. Chivas Regal with the morning papers, Dunhill cigarette. 3:45. Cocaine. 3:50. Another glass of Chivas Dunhill. 9:45, first cup of coffee, Dunhill. 4:15, cocaine. 4:16, orange juice, Dunhill. 4:30, cocaine. 4:45, cocaine. 5:05, cocaine. 5:11, coffee, Dunhills. 5:30, more ice in the Chivas. 5:45, cocaine. 6 p.m., grass to take the edge off. 7:05, Wood Creek Tavern for lunch. Heineken, 2 margaritas, 2 cheeseburgers, 2 orders of fries, a plate of tomatoes, coleslaw, a taco salad, a double order of onion rings, carrot cake, ice cream, bean fritter, Dunhills, another Heineken, cocaine, and for the ride home, a snow cone, a glass of shredded ice, over which is poured 3 or 4 jiggers of Chivas. 9 p.m., cocaine. 10 p.m., drops acid. 11 p.m., chartreuse, cocaine, grass. 11:30, cocaine. Midnight, Hunter ready to write. 12:05 to 6 a.m. Chartreuse, cocaine, grass, Chivas, coffee, Heineken, clove cigarettes, grapefruit, Dunhills, orange juice, gin. 6 a.m. In the hot tub, champagne, Dove bars, fettuccine alfredo. 8 a.m. halation. 8:20, sleep. So that's his daily schedule, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but Chivas alcohol. So yeah, he is a really interesting fella. I hope you enjoy all this information on his life. Again, it's a really fun episode. Please enjoy this. All right. Lucas, so first question for you. Who is Hunter S. Thompson?
How's it going, dude?
True. How is it?
Hunter S. Thompson's, I don't know, he's one of my favorite authors, of all time. Kind of like a teenage angsty thing to say.
Yeah, I remember you, telling me about him when we started. That was probably, freshman year, or sophomore year.
Yeah, I think that's about when I would have gotten into him.
Right. When the hormones are, in full force.
Yeah, the drugs are coming out.
The drugs are coming in. Yeah, we just started smoking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I remember, and
then Fear and Loathing, you're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so Hunter S. Thompson, he's most known for his book, Fear and Loathing.
Right.
In Las Vegas.
Well, but the movie based off of the book.
Yeah, that's true. By our generation is going to be more known by the movie. And then
in the future, just not at all.
Aw, sad. Yeah, but I actually, I remember I woke up on the couch. I had the same experience with Twin Peaks which is now like, I don't know, like part of my identity. It's one of my favorite shows.
Got a tattoo and everything.
Yeah, and so exactly. And so like I woke up on a couch like, you know, like 3 a.m. one time, and I think I was watching like Vice, like the channel.
Yeah.
And they had fucking Fear and Loathing on there.
Oh,
and
nice.
like it was the scene with the lizard cops in the lobby. If you haven't seen it, definitely just go look up this scene.
The lizard cops
like,
in the lobby?
Yeah, like I mean that should just like want to make you get into this guy, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But,
I mean it's
but yeah, it's just like one of those scenes where it's like, holy fuck, like I gotta check this, like check out whatever this is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so like I was also at that point in my life where like I was more interested in like reading the books first. If there was a movie.
Oh yeah.
And so like I ended up reading the book first, and I was like, holy shit, like this guy's cool as fuck, and he knows how to write. Like,
yeah.
his style, like I'd never seen before, really.
Yeah, because he started out as like a journalist, right?
Yeah. So he was born in Louisville.
Okay.
Actually, in like the 30s.
All right.
And
in the 30s?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't think
he was. Yeah.
He goes back.
Yeah, he's like our grandparents' age, basically.
Damn. Was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all my grandparents are dead. So is Hunter.
I have one. I got one.
Just one. He was number.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a journalist for basically like the first 20 years of his career.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. And and it was he like, did he have a side? Wasn't he slanted?
Not necessarily. So he started as a sports writer, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he wrote for like all these different newspapers from like 57 to 65 about. And that was like after some time in the Air Force. But he didn't actually.
He was in the Air
He didn't
Force?
actually make it into the Air Force. He was just like, I guess it's basic. I don't know if
like
it was different now, and I don't really know if the military works now. But he was like in training, and he got an early honorable discharge.
Yeah, I was wondering, are you allowed to, like, if you don't like the Army as soon as you start it? I know, like,
I don't think you can just leave. That was my plan for the longest time. Like, go to basic, and then, like...
Get ripped?
Yeah, I think, you do it for, like, 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And then they assign you somewhere. You get, like, 2 weeks to go back home, and then you come back to wherever.
Right.
And they assign you somewhere, whether it's, like, in Tennessee or, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to work there for, like, however long the assignment is.
Damn.
And, like, if you
so at what point are you allowed to be like, all right, well, I don't want to do any of this?
I guess it's after like a couple assignments, dude. Because like if you leave like during and never come back after that 2-week period, they could find you and like charge you. Like you're part of the military at that point.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did it early enough.
Yeah. So his commander like got him like was like, no, this guy needs to be like honorably discharged. Like he said he's a rebel with a superior attitude, not guided by policy. And so, like, he recognized, like, this, like, individualist spirit, like, within him.
Oh,
he was like,
cool.
That's not going to work in the military. Yeah, no, it is pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
because he was like, it's kind of like, this guy's a little bit of a dick, but he does it, like, in a good way.
Yeah, he's like, he's going to be better, like, not, as a GI.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so he ended up just becoming a freelance, newspaper writer.
Right.
Like, going around. And, also, like, by this time in his late 20s, he was already going bald. So you might sympathize with that.
Yeah. True.
No, but yeah, like, any late pictures you see of him, he's going to be bald. Like, even, like, 70s on.
Well, in the movie, when you watch it, he has a hat on for, like, the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Johnny Depp, cool.
Yeah.
And then he takes his hat off, and you're
like, he's bald?
Bald.
Yeah, and he's like, super cool, and then he's like, bald?
Yeah, real quick, I've been thinking about... Alright, this is, like, complete different tangent. But, like, in the SpongeBob movie, do you remember... They just train kids to hate bald people. Because the King Neptune was, like, balding.
Oh, yeah.
That was, like, a major part of the story. And
that's why he was a dick, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
At least in the story.
Yeah, and he would, like, take off his crown, and he'd be like, thinning! And then people would be, like, their eyes would, like, burn out of their skulls.
Jesus.
He'd be like, bald! And, yeah, so, just our culture, shaming bald people.
Yeah, dude, and then also, just going off of that, like, they weren't men until they got hair.
Who?
Like Patrick and SpongeBob. Like, remember, like, now that we're men. It was a mustache, but it's still, like, the very lack of hair makes you, like, an adolescent. Or something, It's like, it dehumanizes him.
And then you lose your hair, and you just become an old person?
Yeah.
I don't know how that
Hunter
works.
S. Thompson, maybe.
Yeah, true. You just do drugs? Did he do drugs before he went bald?
I would like to think so.
Did he do drugs in basic? Probably not. probably not.
It would be tough to get drugs, I think.
Well, especially it was like the 30s, but you said, well,
it was the 50s.
Yeah,
but,
the 50s, but 50s is still pretty conservative time.
Yeah.
Happy Days, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was actually also, with Happy Days, it was the time of, like, the beatniks.
Oh,
Who
you're
were,
right.
Like, with the beat
but they
writers.
were, like, frowned upon, I feel like. There was a culture, but it was
Yeah,
more
no,
of,
it was, like, the beginning of the counter... so the beats...
The beginning of the
Yeah, they
counterculture.
weren't, like, part of the counterculture, but they definitely, like, sparked it into the 60s.
Right.
But the beats were actually, like, what got Hunter interested in writing.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like a super big fan of a bunch of them. Like he was actually friends with like Allen Ginsberg by the end of his life. Ernest Hemingway. You don't know Allen Ginsberg? He's like, I don't know, one of the best poets ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Ever?
No, for real.
Well,
dude.
I mean,
He's
the
like,
second name you said, Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that name.
Yeah,
for
he
sure.
was so like they weren't friends, but he was a big inspiration of his.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a kid, Hunter would like take like The Great Gatsby, which is F. Scott Fitzgerald,
Right.
or A Farewell to Arms, which is Hemingway, and like just open it and like type the entire thing on a typewriter just to like get like the flow of the words and like to understand how to write, basically.
Yeah,
like
that's actually not a bad idea.
No, it's super fucking smart. Like,
Yeah.
and like I don't love The Great Gatsby, but like one thing that it's like it definitely is like a well-written book.
Oh yeah.
So like
for sure.
that, I don't know. It's great. Like I would never think to do that.
Damn. Yeah, I might have to start doing that with scripts or something.
Yeah, like
But-
comedians, like transcripts.
Oh yeah.
That'd be smart.
That would be cool. But like even, I mean, do you remember the episode of the Anthropocene Reviewed where he talks about The Great Gatsby?
Yeah.
And he's like, it wasn't even like that big of a book when it first came out.
It wasn't big for like 20 years after.
Yeah,
Like,
until the war. Was it Vietnam?
no, I think it would have been like
World War One or something?
I don't know. It could because
One of the wars.
yeah, it happened like he wrote it around the time of the Depression. I guess 2 maybe.
Oh, it was before the Depression because it was the Roaring Twenties, which was what the movie was about, right? So he probably wrote it during the time of the Depression. And I think it came out, I don't know, it could have been Vietnam. But it was it was the book that they sent out with the army.
Oh yeah, you're right. I do remember that. No, I know.
Yeah, and so at that point, all the army men were like, all right, this is a good book.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
good
the
enough.
more time you're exposed to a piece of art, the more you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So now it's just a classic because it was
Yeah,
forced
it's
upon
like it could have been anything. Like it could have been like Dave Pilkey's Captain Underpants, and like they would just come, like the soldiers would come home, like, have you read this? Have you flipped the flipperama?
So Hunter S.
Yeah,
Thompson
back
hung
then,
out
like-
with Dave Pilkey
Yeah, that basically.
and Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, but so he was like he was friends with some of these guys, you know, once he actually had his own career, but they definitely inspired him to write.
For sure.
And
I mean, you're a product of like the 5 people that you hang around, isn't that a thing?
Yeah, true.
So if you hang around with a bunch of writers, you're gonna.
Yeah, but this was like even before that. He just like I guess it is kind of like hanging out with them if you're like typing up an entire book though.
Yeah.
That's like that's the crazy thing about like books is like it feels like you're hanging out with the author, even if like
Oh, true.
even if it's like a story. Like I just watched Stand By Me 2 days ago.
Oh, such
and
a
dude,
good movie.
when he gives that fucking like they're sitting around the campfire. Or, I don't know if there's a campfire, but they're like
It's
you
a
know
campfire.
yeah they're like sitting there smoking or like after a meal like
It is
smoking
kind of like
cigarettes.
a smoking scene.
And then he sets up this whole story for him, and like you get lost. Even watching it, you get lost in it. And then he's just like weaving a story for you, and that's honestly what friendship is. Like you just like talk to people over like and tell stories, and like get familiar with like the way they tell them and shit.
Oh yeah, and the way
So-
they talk.
Yeah,
and
so
you
like
kinda
I
just-
don't know. That's why I love books so much. But like that's what.
Yeah, I mean, in the actual book, Stand By Me, it's like a complete separate chapter.
Yeah.
That's just in there. It's just
Yeah.
like another story.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's like he just wrote that, and it's
Yeah.
like you kind of just. Yeah, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I brought up the beatniks because like, so a lot of people like, I don't know, they're popular or like famous I guess for a lot of things like challenging the establishment. Their books
Hitchhiking.
obviously. Yeah, hitchhiking. But like to me at least, the most important thing about like the beats to like you know latch onto is that they all did a shit ton of drugs.
Of course.
Yeah, like
Of course.
they were like it kind of invented taking stimulants to write.
Oh really?
So yeah, you can thank them the next time like you're doing an essay.
Yeah.
Because like you wouldn't have had the Adderall without the beats basically.
Damn, That's crazy.
You know, or you at least like wouldn't pair them together. I don't think in the same way.
I feel like beatnik I relate to like weed and like slowing down.
Yeah,
but I didn't know they were.
Yeah,
like,
they needed the weed after
after freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like Jack.
I wonder if you can tell that while you're reading like beatnik poems and stuff. If you can tell that it's like stimulant.
Yeah, some of it, like at least what I've read, like some of the poetry is just kind of like all over the place, and then like Jack Kerouac. Have you heard that name?
No.
He wrote On the Road. It's like his most famous book.
But heard of the movie?
Yeah, with like Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the movie myself, but like the book's pretty good. But he wrote that actually on the road. He just like, I think he like drove a motorcycle just around the country and would just take fucking speed and like stop and write like 40, 50 pages.
Damn.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, like.
They base their careers off of this stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's a great book, but it's also like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we know the way he wrote it, but it's also like, yeah, I feel like this could have used a couple edits, you know?
Yeah.
Or like it could have used some like time away from the drugs, maybe.
I mean, at least when you write a book on stimulants, do more stimulants and revise, you know?
Yeah. Or like when I write an essay on like a stimulant, you know, I like have to take a couple days away from it and then come back and be like, oh, well, that whole paragraph's garbage, like like that, or you know, like just rework it. It's like that wasn't quite what I wanted to.
And 3 times in a row.
Like oh, dope.
Sweet.
Yeah, you use like like 3 times in a sentence. You're just fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like what inspired him to start using stimulants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically he gets out of the Air Force and he's working for like almost a decade at like random newspapers.
Right.
He was a sports writer, I think I said.
Yeah. Did he have a team?
No, he was just a big football fan. I think yeah. I mean, there was no Kentucky football team, so he was like, I don't know, just, you know, whoever was good football at the time. Yeah. And so in '65, he was hired to do an article on Hell's Angels.
Hell's Angels.
Oh, yeah, it's like the motorcycle.
The motorcycle.
Game. Yeah. And so he followed them for like 3 months and had this article written, like about their life, how they work and stuff. And then he decided to turn it into a book. So he follows them for another year. Basically, like he's an honorary member at that point.
Oh shit.
Not like for good. Like he can't just come join them whenever he wants. But like for that time, like. He's like, hanging out with them, all this shit.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, they're he's not a snitch. He's Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, exactly. They were like super distrustful of reporters because they're the fucking Hells Angels.
Right.
But like it's Hunter Thompson, and like he wasn't even. He was just like a cool guy, you know.
Yeah.
There's a cool ass photo where he's like in the back of a pickup truck, and like he's getting a photo for his article, and like taking a picture of them like. He's in the bed of the pickup truck with all of them like riding, like taking up the whole road. And then like I think they got another picture, like another truck to get a picture of him.
Another truck.
Yeah, another truck with another Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah, but he that's when he actually started taking like dexedrine, which is a stimulant of the time.
Really?
Yeah,
does
for
it
writing.
Exist anymore?
Maybe.
Should it exist anymore?
Probably not. Like I feel like stimulants of the 50s and 60s are probably best left like
in the 50s.
Yeah, like scheduled drugs. But I don't really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he.
I mean, when you're hanging out with the Hells Angels, though, you're probably gonna get into some drugs.
Yeah, but he really so he was doing drugs with them, I'm sure. But then he like really got into using them for his writing at that point because he like had to meet the book deadline.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
But
and that's what the whole lesson is. Deadlines are bad, people.
Yeah, basically.
School is bad because it makes you want to do drugs.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, he talked about, like, he knew there was, like, a trade-off happening. Like, he had to meet that deadline, right? To get that book out and, like, basically start his career.
Yeah.
And so, like, the only way to do that, once he had put it off for so long, was to take this drug. And, like, it gets that workout, but it's also gonna, like, there's gonna be some consequences, you know? It's, like, the same with, like, any drug, or like, alcohol. Like, you take alcohol, and it makes you feel good for a little bit, but if you make that routine, or even if you're doing it, like, every other day, like, you're gonna have some serious, like, consequences.
Adverse health effects.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not doing your daily work that you need to be doing.
Exactly. Like, you're just gonna fall, like, your life's gonna go to shit.
Right.
But like I don't know, people like
doing Adderall every day, giving Adderall to a kid every day.
Yeah, like like 12 Benadryl a day. Like actually that's maintainable.
Like coffee every day. 12 Benadryl. Jesus Christ.
That's
like
just the morning.
Yeah,
that's just the morning.
That's just and then 12 at night too.
Yeah, but so that was like I don't know, people love to like point to his later life and be like, yeah, you see, like, you can have fun with drugs, but you take it too far and you end up like Hunter S. Thompson. Like, he couldn't really put sentences together well. He had like he didn't make public appearances anymore. He was like reluctant to even be seen in public.
Oh, really?
And which is kind of sad because like he was like a 65-year-old man, you know?
Yeah, but where did like the political journalism come from?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so like but I don't know, like he recognized there was a trade-off there.
Oh, and he like wrote about it. Was it during the time period from after Hell's Angels that he like talked about that?
About the trade-off?
Yeah.
It was probably a little after that, like once he actually got involved in like taking drugs for his writing.
Right.
And, like, but yeah, he like knew about it like in the middle of his career, like at his peak, basically.
Oh, so that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Did that thing that he first wrote with the drugs, was that like a big hit for him?
Oh yeah, dude, it sold 500,000 copies.
Damn.
Which like I don't know what books sell today, honestly.
Yeah, or
so
what they even sold back then.
Like that, I can't really compare that. Yeah. To anything. But think about like anybody reading anything, like, or not anybody, but like think about any book right now selling 500,000 copies.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like any of the past like 10 books you've read. Right. I can't imagine like a single one of them like I don't
selling,
know.
Yeah, 500,000.
Yeah, like that's a shit.
I mean, maybe like probably like classics have probably sold a lot because they're implemented in schools.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah, but books that aren't, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like this was a new book, like,
oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
it
sold 500,000 in like the first couple years. Like,
damn.
It was insane. But yeah, no, so that like started his career.
Damn.
And so he was a respected journalist at that point. And so it led him to like the Chicago Convention of 1968, like the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah.
You know, like where they like picked the candidate, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember that.
I think I heard about. Didn't you send me a podcast on Hunter S. Thompson's life? And I think he went there.
Yeah.
And something crazy happened.
Yeah. So he went there, and like it was I don't know if you remember from like history class and shit, but it was a crazy ass convention. Like there were all these different candidates that were like actually could have been granted the candidacy, and people didn't like who was picked and shit.
Mm-hmm. Who was it?
I want to say it was like George McGovern.
Oh, and who was the Republican?
Oh, no, that was the next election.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I want to say it was Robert Kennedy maybe, and then he died.
Oh.
But you know, like he was shot. Like,
well, that's JFK that was shot.
No, but his brother was too.
You're right, dude. JFK. That was in the 80s though.
Was it?
No, it was the 60s. It was 60. It was 68.
It was 63, dumbass.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we watched a movie about that in Miss Taylor's class.
Yeah.
Because JFK ran, and then his brother ran right after, and they
shout out Miss Taylor for sure.
Yeah, definitely shout out Miss Taylor. Yeah.
No, yeah, dude. The video is wild. Again, if you haven't seen this video of Robert Kennedy dying, definitely go look it up. Like he's shot in like a hotel kitchen, and so this is just a video like someone's like following him like through all the halls and shit to like like he just
like a campaign video.
Yeah, exactly. And then somebody just out of nowhere, he's just shot.
Oh.
It's like almost more gruesome.
Inside, too.
Yeah, dude. In a kitchen. Like
Jesus.
A hotel kitchen. Like, you've been there. Like, it's like a crowded place. And like,
yeah.
It's not a place to get shot in. No doubt.
I don't remember that part of the movie that we watched it.
She probably didn't show us that in like 7th grade. But
no, it was sophomore year.
Oh, yeah, we did have
that we watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Well, first of all, that whole situation is crazy.
Yeah.
JFK, and then his brother. I thought, but anyways.
Yeah, so he goes to this convention. There's police, there's riots from the people, and then there's police brutality to, like, back that up, like, to stop the riots. Like, they're just beating everybody, like, like, you can find videos, but it's, like, I don't know, it's, like, civil rights type shit, like, where they're, like, just beating the shit out of people, like, indiscriminately. It's like, what the fuck?
That was definitely part of the video.
Yeah, it's like, how could you treat, like, a human being like that, let alone, like, these people, like, are obviously distressed.
Yeah,
like,
and you're a representation of the government and the police force.
Like, you're the enforcement, like, the power enforcement, basically.
Yeah, and you're just beating the shit out of people who are just protesting.
Yeah, and he got beat the shit out of.
Hunter?
He was one of them, yeah. And he was
That's
like
Thompson?
Yeah, dude, he even had a press pass. Like he went there
Oh,
as a
yeah.
member, and like they still beat the shit out of him. And so he went back to his hotel and like cried for almost a week.
Aw.
Yeah, because like he was so like he didn't understand how like he did understand.
Was
that,
he
like,
on drugs when that happened?
when he cried for a week?
Well,
because I've been
before
there.
and after. Yeah, because I've been there. Yeah.
Probably.
Because if you're
I
on
mean,
drugs and if you're on acid or something and you get beat the shit out, then that's probably really traumatizing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd cry for a week.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, but he recognized that like once violence, enters this like the conversation, like the conversation's over. Like
You're right.
it becomes
not a
like
conversation.
yeah, it becomes like a conversation of force more so. Like whoever has more power, more brute force, like,
Yeah.
is gonna win.
Right.
And then so it's like he recognized that, and as a journalist, like that's kind of tough to bear.
Because your power, like word, the power of conversation is like what?
It's just worthless. And like we've moved way closer to that now. I feel.
The power of conversation or the power of brute force?
Is it like a tilting scale? Like it can only go one or the other?
Probably not.
Probably the brute force. I think. Like I just feel like people don't talk as much. Like
Yeah,
about, like-
true. That's true.
like that's what we're doing right now. But
yeah, luckily.
yeah, but
We're
like
still talking.
yeah, but like people just don't like.
Opinions.
Yeah, they just have like these like phrases they want to say to whether either agitate somebody or like get somebody to agree with them.
Social distancing.
Yeah, it's just like I don't like we have social media, so like it's the classic thing of like we have social media, so we're like more connected than ever, but somehow we're more disconnected
But
than
we're
ever.
more disconnected.
Yeah, and it's like you know what I mean. It's just like we have this ability.
to have a conversation.
Yeah, but like there's no
Everybody's
conversations
choosing,
happening. Being
Well,
had.
it's because of the social medias. They're not set up for conversation. They're
That's
set up for here. Say what you want to say.
Yeah.
And then people will say like little. It's not. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, they also like promote whatever tweets or like posts that that you would engage with, whether they make you angry or
Oh
not.
yeah,
It's
true.
whatever you're gonna engage with.
Engage with.
Because that
whether
gets
it's a
like more
positive or a negative.
Yeah, so it's like
engagement.
it doesn't fucking matter. Like social media sucks, but
Yeah. We're in the past. We're back when America was great originally. The first time.
yeah. So he like yeah, exactly. No, for sure. But
So
yeah,
he got beat the shit out of, and he got
he
cried for like a week. That's
Yeah.
that's a lot of tears.
oh yeah, dude. Probably a lot of drugs though. Honestly, to spur those tears, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, true.
if you're like the type of person to do a lot of drugs, typically you're the type of person to do even more drugs when you start crying.
True,
You know?
true. Yeah.
Like spoken from experience, but but yeah, that actually led to him entering a sheriff's race in 1970 in Aspen, Colorado.
Oh shit.
Like,
he wanted to be a sheriff?
Yeah, so he ran for county sheriff. He didn't necessarily want to be sheriff. He wanted to be like he wanted to get into the establishment, you know?
Right.
And so he ran not like as a Republican or Democrat. He ran on it was called like the Freak Power ticket,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
And
Freak power ticket. Because he wanted freak power.
yeah, I guess there were other people like running in Colorado on that ticket. Like I guess Colorado is like a hub for like what Austin, is now. Austin, Texas. Like it's just like weird people and like there's music being made and drugs being taken and shit. There's cool microbreweries, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's cool, but really weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he ran on like a platform of decriminalization of drugs, turning the streets into grass so that like people could just like walk on them. Like
What?
we're in Lebanon.
That's what he ran. That was one of his campaigns.
Yeah, that was one of his campaign promises. Like,
holy shit.
but I kind of like at first you're like what, but then like we're in Lebanon right now, and like every summer they talk about like turning not Broadway but like Main Street
Mulberry.
into like
Big old party.
yeah like
area.
like a block where like everybody can hang and shit, and it's like but it's also just concrete. Like I can get concrete in my in my neighborhood, like
Yeah.
literally in my front yard. Like,
I got plenty of it.
Like
don't
fuck
need
that.
more,
Like
yeah.
I prefer grass where you can like lay a blanket down, like you
True.
feel the grass like under your. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes.
yeah, no,
makes
it's
it
like
nice.
it's like romanticized in my mind, but
For sure.
yeah, he talked about disarming the police, which is dope as fuck.
As a sheriff?
Yeah, he was,
Ooh.
and he was like his like opponent was like, what, like why would you do that? He's like, is like I don't know, dude. He was just like talk to any police officer. Like they say they never use them, and then when they do, like somebody gets seriously hurt, and it's like not it's typically
in a situation where they didn't need to be.
Yeah, they didn't need to. It's like, how often do you need to use your firearm?
Right.
And later in his life, like not that long after, he got like super into
firearms.
Yeah,
I think because in the movie he goes and he shoots.
He realized like I don't know. He realized where the establishment was going and, like, you know, where we are now. Like,
right.
You kind of need them, like, to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, you can...
Well, that's the point of, I think, the amendment. Is, like, the right to bear arms is to, like, not to use on other people, but to use in case the government, I don't know, the government gets out of hand.
Yeah,
I don't know,
need
something
to.
like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, like, he definitely understood, like, I think he was more with people having the guns than, like, police, you know, like the power arm.
Yeah.
Because he had seen what, you know, happened in, like, Chicago. He also shaved his hair, like, for it so that he could then, in, like, the debates against his, whoever he was running against, like, he could be like, my long-haired opponent, you know. So,
you could just refer to them as...
Yeah, and then it's like, I mean, especially in a set, like, 1970, like, people didn't, you know,
oh,
like
they didn't
guys,
like long hair.
Yeah, guys with long hair.
I forgot about that.
And it's like, he probably had, like, hair, like, as long, like, you know, shorter than mine, even. But it's like, you could just call him your long-haired
my long-haired opponent.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
You know, that is right. What a day.
Yeah, and so it actually looked like he was going to win.
Superior policy.
Yeah.
It comes out there.
Exactly. But yeah, he thought he was gonna win. And like all these reporters started coming to him in like the last week, and it's like, we want to hear what you have to say. Like, you know, it looks like you're gonna win. And then the 2 nights before the actual election, the Democrats and Republicans conspired to like have his opponent drop out. And so his opponent was a Democrat, right?
Oh, okay.
And so he dropped out. And then the Republican dropped out of the county commissioner's race. And that way the Democrats won. And then the Republican, who was also running against him, like in the sheriff's race, would win. If that makes sense. So they pushed everybody to vote for...
the guy that wasn't Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, basically.
Because they knew...
Yeah, they even... Like, the Democrats even...
They're like, it has to be either a Democrat or a Republican,
yeah,
so
like,
one side
we
forfeited.
can't have fucking Hunter S. Thompson. Like,
taking guns away and putting grass in the street and shit.
Yeah, he talked about, like, destroying any buildings that blocked, like, the view of the mountains.
Oh.
Yeah, which, it's like,
yeah.
I don't know, he seems like a cool guy.
Definitely.
And it's sad, like, he almost won, and then it
and then they just conspired against him.
Yeah, and so, like, I think that was his like, first foray into politics, you know? I mean, obviously, the convention sparked that, but then he's like, fuck, like, these establishment guys will literally do anything. Like, they'll give up their position, like, their election, in order to make sure that, like, nobody, like, you know, nothing infiltrates the establishment. It's like, god damn, like, I don't know.
It's kind of a fuck system.
Yeah, it's just disheartening as hell.
It is disheartening.
And it's like, I don't know, it just happened to this actual guy.
Yeah, this guy that you have read, and, like, again, like we were talking about earlier, it's like you kind of know him a little bit because you've read his
he's like
book.
Almost a friend. Like,
yeah.
It's sad. He's definitely influenced my life, like, growing up and shit.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, some of the promises are kind of a stretch, you know, but they're, like, for the good, you know what I mean? Like, it's for the best.
Yeah, and it's like, he probably wouldn't actually, like, tear down businesses, you know, that block the view. Right. But it's like, he's not going to let any more go up. Like,
especially as a sheriff, how much power do they actually have?
Yeah, but you could definitely make, like, zoning issues, you know, like, difficult, like, to build new shit. But yeah, even, like, sheriffs only go for, like, 2 or 3 years, I think. It's not that long, so it's like, yeah, you couldn't have probably done all of that, but, like, that's the point. Like,
yeah, the point is, like, trying to reach the best, you know?
Yeah. It's like,
the best society.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That was 1970, and then he also wrote this essay on the Kentucky Derby. He was like still a journalist at the time, and he but so like an election's in November, and then like the Kentucky Derby's in like July, so it's like kind of separated.
Right.
I think it's in July. I don't know.
It was
supposed to be coming up.
I
It was
think.
definitely supposed to be coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know when it is now. But yeah, it's the piece is called The Kentucky Derby is Decadent and Depraved, which is like a cool ass title.
Yeah, a lot alliteration.
Yeah, I read it this past like winter, and he hardly talks about the Kentucky Derby at all, like the actual race. It's more about like the people who go there.
Yeah.
And like the fucking big ass hats and like just like all the betting, which he was a big bettor himself, but big old bet. But it's also like, I mean, I don't know, when you see like these rich people like, you know, spend a shit ton on the horses, like and then like they spend a shit ton to like bet on them.
Oh yeah.
It's like all rich people, and it's like ugh. So
it's
he
just like, yeah, it's like they have nothing better to do with their money, so they just bet on like the competition of like dumbass horses.
Yeah, dude, and they spend like decades and like millions of dollars. Like horses cost a shit ton.
Oh yeah, just a place for money to be laundered, maybe.
Yeah, and so he just like drank the entire time and like almost missed the race
that he was supposed to write about.
Yeah, that's classic Hunter.
Classic Hunter.
Yeah, but
he got it done.
Yeah, but the thing about this piece is like it really like sparked his this like first person narrative. He would like it was just very subjective. Like I was saying, like what other writer like goes to cover a sporting event and then narrowly misses the sporting event? Yeah. You know, and so he gave this step. Like it's mostly about his drinking that day. It's mostly about the people he sees.
Right.
So it's like this step-by-step process. You know, that's very subjective, very first person.
Well, I mean, it's cool because like it's more about like he wasn't that interested in the Kentucky Derby. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he wrote. Like, he was probably assigned to do a book or something about it, or just wanted to do it in general. I don't know. He probably had somebody that was paying him to do it, right? And so, I mean, for me, with my classes, it's like, we had to write essays on articles about, like, food and food nourishment. I don't really care about that at all. But, so I just wrote about, like, the format of the article and, like, just, like, kind of judge the author's, like, writing style and I don't know.
No,
so
for sure.
It's cool. He just, like, turned it into something that he liked and that's Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, you just like make the assignment work for you. You're
exactly.
Like, well, I got to do this shit. Like, may as well have it be fun.
Right, and it's like it was open ended. You know, they didn't say what to write about. They just said write about this.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I'm writing this about that.
Yeah, like he did the same shit with the Super Bowl a couple years. Like he actually did. Well, yeah, like there was this big ass fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. It's called like the Rumble in the Jungle.
George Foreman?
Yeah, dude, it was like the biggest fight ever.
Rumble in the Jungle. I mean, it sounds like I don't even know. Was that UFC boxing?
Boxing.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
But I
it was in
know
Africa.
both of those names.
It was in Africa.
Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah, dude, imagine like the boxing association like setting up this whole thing in Africa, and I don't know who it was, maybe ESPN, Rolling Stone, like, flew him out there to go do it, and he ended up missing it. Like he was just floating in a fucking pool. Like drinking a cocktail, smoking some reefer.
Like, oh shit, that's going on right now. Well, missed it.
Yeah, it's just like he didn't. Yeah, like I mean, that is kind of sad though too. It's like, bro, you missed like literally the biggest sporting event of your life. And
yeah.
Just gonna let it go.
Just gonna let it go. I mean, at that point, he definitely didn't care.
No, not. But that first person like way of writing ended up like sparking this whole thing called like now it's called Gonzo journalism, and it's like named for him.
Oh,
right.
Where does Gonzo come from?
I don't remember honestly.
Yeah.
There's got to be something.
Jamie, look that up. I got you.
Gonzo journalism is a style of journalism that is written without claims of objectivity, often including the reporter as part of the story via a first-person narrative. The word gonzo is believed to have been first used in 1970 to describe an article by Hunter S. Thompson, who later popularized the style. The term gonzo was first used in connection with Hunter S. Thompson by the Boston Globe magazine editor Bill Cardazzo in 1970. He described Thompson's article, "The Kentucky Derby is Decadent and Depraved," which was written for the June 1970 edition of Scanlan's Monthly, as pure gonzo journalism. Cardazzo claimed that gonzo was South Boston Irish slang, describing the last man standing after an all-night drinking marathon. He also claimed that it was a corruption of the French-Canadian word gonzieu, which means shining path, although this is disputed.
Yeah.
But so the whole like first what do you mean like first like it's objective writing, but it's
so like
from a first person narrative perspective.
It's basically like almost every journalism like piece you'll read now. Mm-hmm. Like if you read something from like Vice, that's exactly gonzo journalism. It's like say they go to cover like some Native American tribe and like the ayahuasca they take or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like that person's writing about their flight there most of the time. They're writing about like getting invested into the group, maybe like staying there for a couple of days before they go on like the experience or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like that wasn't a thing before. Before it was just like, before him at least, like you would just have these like these articles that like I don't know, it's just very, like, disconnected from the author.
Okay.
You know, the author is just, like, a medium to get that information out, whereas he included himself, like, in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, his story became a part of the larger story, whatever he was writing.
Yeah. So that's where, like, opinionated journalism came in?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, but he, like, revolutionized journalism. Like, I mean, his stuff is opinionated. Like, he's talking about how shitty, you know, the Kentucky Derby is. Yeah. But it's still, it's like a harmless opinion, you know?
Right.
And it's like...
Hunter S. Thompson, everybody knows he's, like, drug-fueled fiend.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, it's like, well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's crazy that, I mean, that's probably how he made his name, right? Because of his revolutionization of...
Yeah, and it's like, imagine growing up, like, reading the beats, and then when you like, become a journalist, and, like, everything you're surrounded by, everything you're supposed to write, everything you do read is, like, so sanitary, like, so distant from, like, what the source is supposed to be, and you're like, this doesn't, like, it doesn't really match up, you know?
Right.
Like, there's a disconnect. And so, like, he, like, I don't know, in my opinion, he fixed that, you know?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He, like, mended that.
He made, like, people actually want to read stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, like...
Important stuff, I guess.
So, like, that was, like, the beginning of, like, his, like, really, like, getting his own style, you know? And that led to, like, the next year, in 1971, he wrote this, he was assigned to do this piece that he titled, like, Strange Rumblings in Aslan.
Not in the jungle.
No, not this time. And
well, not ever, because he didn't make it to that one. Strange Rumblings in where?
In Aslan, yeah. Like the lion, yeah.
Like the god?
Yeah, but there's a T in there. I don't know how Aslan's spelled in the other book.
In the other, yeah.
But he so there was this journalist who was... This was, like, you know, right at, like, 1971, so, like, 1972, I don't know when the Vietnam War started, probably the 1950s.
Yeah.
But it was, like, at its height in, like, the 1970s,
The height of the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
In the 1970s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this, so, like, there was this journalist named Ruben Salazar, right, in Los Angeles.
It's a cool name.
Yeah, no, it's cool as fuck. And so he was in LA, and he was covering, there was this, like, rally of, like, it's called, like, a Chicana rally, and, like, Chicanos are, like Hispanic people that are Americans, right?
Oh, okay.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But, like, it was, like, I don't know, it was, like, one of those suburbs of LA where it's, like, mostly Hispanics, mostly, like, Mexicans, right? And this...
Little Mexico.
Yeah, and Ruben Salazar was a Mexican-American himself, so he was, like, perfect to cover this rally that was going on against the Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. And the police came in, and they were trying to disrupt it, like, break up the rally, whatever, like, you know, just, like, the same thing that was going on in Chicago.
Yeah.
And they shot a can of tear gas straight into his head.
Holy
shit. Dude was dead, like, instantly.
Yeah.
And so Hunter S. Thompson sent down there to go, like, check this out, like, investigate in a way, like, see, like, what the fuck happened, because, like, you know, anytime the police kill somebody, like, it's instantly covered up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wrongfully or not, like, it's almost always just, like, covered up, like, and then, again, like, they're the power arm, so they have, like, all the information. They do the actual investigation, you know?
Yeah.
And so he goes down there to do some of his own shit.
His own.
Yeah, and that was really scarring to him again. It was just, like, again, you see the fucking police
the power.
now, like, literally taking out journalists.
True,
And this was, like, one of the top, like, journalists of the time. And with a cool-ass name.
Yeah, with, like, I mean, come on.
Ruben Salazar, like, come on.
You're gonna take that guy out of the world? I mean, now you got a problem with it.
It is a good martyr name, though. Honestly.
True, yeah.
Remember Ruben Salazar.
Remember Ruben Salazar. Remember Ruben. Hashtag remember Ruben.
Yeah, but he a mutual friend of Ruben's and Hunter's, his name was Oscar Acosta. He met him down in L.A., and he, like, Acosta was like, yeah, we gotta get out of here. Like, I'll tell you what happened, but, like, I don't want to be in L.A. Like, I'm afraid for my life, obviously, you know, like, and so they went from LA to Las Vegas on, like, whatever the highway is, and that's where he came up with the idea to do Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is, like, all about...
he was, like, scared of being, like, killed by the police.
Yeah, basically, and yeah, exactly, and that's where,
I
like,
thought that guy was his lawyer.
Well, it was, so that was just where he got the idea from, right?
Okay.
And then, like I was saying, it's like that first person subjective, like, allows for, like, a lot of, like, fake stuff to come in, like, just to make shit up.
Right.
And so, like, I doubt he actually went with his lawyer, you know? Yeah. I'm not gonna say he didn't, but
I mean, he went with Oscar.
Yeah, it's like, and he could have done a trip by himself. True. Honestly.
Yeah.
like doing all those drugs. But yeah, if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, then like it, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is like, it's just his whole trip like to Las Vegas. I don't even remember why he's going there, like in the book.
I don't think it's important, to be honest.
It's not. It's just like about the trip and like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is really weird. It's really introspective.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so that's where like he got the idea for that, and it's just like this. I don't know. Throughout the entire book and movie, there's like this manic desperation. Mm-hmm. He's just like searching for, like trying, like whether it's like trying to get drugs or get to the next spot. Oh, even though that's like we just said, like that's not important in the narrative or like the plot line, but like for him in the moment, it's like
it's really desperate.
Yeah. And yeah, so he uses that first person subjective again, and it just like I don't know, the book like goes crazy, like everyone's interested in it, and it like really makes the name for him.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh shit, like this is like the top writer of our times. And then he doesn't really do much after that. Like his work kind of
I wonder why that book got so famous and popular.
I don't know. I want to say it has to do with like the drug culture. So like you had the 60s, and right. I don't know. That's
so it was mid 70s is what you were saying.
Yeah,
like the height of the Vietnam War. Right?
Yeah. It was 71 when it came out. So it's like
okay. So, but that's like I feel like that's the drug explosion.
Yeah.
Weren't the Beatles doing like drug experimentation music at that point?
Yeah, they had broken up by 70 though.
Oh really?
Yeah, but like the Beatles had happened.
But it just got popular.
Yeah. I think there was like a big need or like need in like media for like this anti-establishment kind of stuff, because like you have the Beatles, you have like I don't know, like Bob Dylan kind of shit. Ruben Salazar dead.
Yeah.
Fucking racial inequalities, like awful, like just following the Civil Rights Amendment. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know, dude. And it, like, so I think...
That's fair. Yeah,
I think
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I think his, like, disdain for, like, not just the establishment, though. It's just, like, authority, basically.
Yeah. Like you.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a real hero.
Yeah.
No, so, I think that paired with, like... just like it's honestly like unfound, like it had never been written before, like he started it with that Hell's Angels book, or like kind of with the Kentucky Derby.
Well, so it's like with a lot of artists, it's like your style, you don't develop your own style first. It's like you said, it's developed from other poets, and like you kind of mix and match other techniques that you've learned, but then he really established it with that what was the first one that you said where he established like the gonzo technique?
It was
maybe the Kentucky Derby one. Yeah, the Kentucky Derby one. And so he like finally got it down, and that was just like about the Kentucky Derby type of thing.
Yeah, and then he like wrote. Then he just wrote it about himself.
Yeah, about himself. You're right. Yeah, the subject was him.
Yeah, but like so there was this. I'm actually like I'm like 30 pages away from finishing this other book by him. It was the last one he wrote in 2003. It's called Kingdom of Fear.
That's crazy. He wrote a book or published a book in 2003.
Yeah, it's basically like old writings that he like went back and like added stuff to, and like added like not a review of, but like a review of the situation. Okay. Like that guy was fucking crazy. That was right. Like I didn't even go into it all. Just
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. It like covers the whole of his career. And there was this one quote I really liked from his dad. That he said. So his dad died when he was 14, which I feel like is kind of traumatic.
Oh yeah, because that's like right when you're. I feel like that's not young enough to where you can live without him.
Yeah.
But it's not old enough to where it's like
and like expected. Yeah, like you either just hit or are hitting puberty, so like that's got to be a bitch to lose like your father figure.
Oh yeah.
But so his dad it says I'll just read it from the book. So his dad once said, "There's no such thing as paranoia. Even your worst fears will come true if you chase them long enough. Beware, son. There is trouble lurking out there in the darkness, sure as hell." And it's like, he told that to him when he was 10.
Damn.
And it's like, I feel like he really...
that's really displayed in Fear and Love.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like he just went off on that quote with this book. Yeah. Because like, it's very, like I was saying, it's just very manic. Mm-hmm. Like... He's like so he's like on all these drugs, so like he does think everybody's out to get him, but it's also like everybody's kind of out to get you if you think about it long enough.
Yeah, because most people, if you do what you want to do, at some point people are gonna not want you to do that. Yeah, and people are just out to keep you from doing what you want to do.
And going back to Ernest Hemingway, he killed himself like because he thought he wasn't wrong. The CIA was following him.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, and so like, he was like going around the country like trying to escape the CIA, but he was also going crazy because of all the stimulant use. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like they weren't necessarily following him, like, you know, like every Cadillac you see is the CIA, but they had like notes on him, so like they had gone to his house and like, you know, investigated him, like private, like, you know, not even like letting him know, just like from afar.
Right. Damn.
So yeah, so like, and that was like his hero. Yeah. And so like he kind of like adopted that, at least for this book, maybe for the rest of his life.
For the rest of, I mean, apparently according to Kingdom of Fear, because he kept the quote in there and like.
Yeah, it's like
just talked about you.
Yeah, so like I was saying, like people when he got older, like people were like, oh, you see, like he really like that's what drugs would do to you, basically. Like he fucked himself over. But it's also like, I mean, if he's cognizant enough or cogent to
coherent enough.
Yeah, to like remember that as a 10-year-old, like that fucking stuck with him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like it sticks with me too. Like fuck,
paranoia. Yeah,
dude. It's like, I mean, I try not to give into paranoia that much because it's like you don't get anything out of it typically. But it's also like
there's no point in it.
Yeah, if you like dive into it long enough, like
it'll consume you.
Yeah, like it'll come true. Like
true. Yeah,
whatever you want.
Damn.
Or don't want.
If you manifest it, if you think about it enough, you can manifest it.
If you manifest.
Yeah, which is
like that Jonah Hill show.
Is that a fad word now? Manifest?
Maybe.
I think so.
Manifest destiny.
Manifest. That's
shout out Miss Taylor.
Shout out Miss Taylor. But so I mean that is something that you kind of see throughout his life, the paranoia, like even starting with the basic, you know. Well, it was starting after the quote. His dad told him that, right?
And then his dad dies.
4 years later.
God
damn. Man.
Yeah, so after 71, like after, you know, he writes Fear and Loathing, or 72, he writes Fear and Loathing. Then he like I think his work fell off. Like some people might think that's his like prime. He started covering like the 72 campaign election, and he really like focused in on Richard Nixon.
Okay.
And it was like, this guy is like obviously like
he was a part of Watergate, wasn't
he? Hunter S. Thompson?
Yeah, didn't he like reveal a lot of stuff about Watergate?
I don't think so.
I don't know why I connected that.
I
think actually my dad told me that like
really?
Hunter was connected a lot with Watergate.
I don't doubt it, dude. There was a ton of journalists that were like
involved.
In it. Yeah. But yeah, so he like followed Nixon, and like Nixon was like the anti Hunter S. Thompson, you know, like like
pro-establishment, I guess.
Like, there's that Community episode where they all have like the evil one, you know, and it's like the evil Abed with like the little goatee.
It was what Richard Nixon was.
Yeah, basically. he's I don't know. He basically started the war on drugs, and that was obviously anti to everything Hunter believed. But he was also like, he knew he was a criminal from the start. Like
true, before everybody, because people liked Nixon. People thought Nixon was like
he won. Well, he won an election.
According to the history books, he was a really good president.
Yeah.
And he didn't need to rig the campaign, even though he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he followed him for a while, and just like, I don't know, he was very, like, Nixon was anti-press, too, which obviously as a journalist for like, a good part of his life, Hunter wasn't about.
Yeah.
He would go to any extent to win, like he said. He was, you know, he would just rig elections. He was a criminal.
Yeah.
Like,
all exactly what Hunter was not about.
They actually bonded a couple times over football.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, you know, there are things in this world.
Yeah, no, he was like, no, I can put it aside for a minute. He also needed like a ride to the airport, and his car, you know, car was the only one going. So.
Yeah, that was the main reason.
Yeah,
that was the main reason that they bonded.
Yeah, but when Nixon died, he said that they should bury his casket in a sewage canal.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so he really hated the dude. Like, I don't want it to seem like they put their differences aside, you know, later in life. Like, they realized it was just like, you know, work. But no. I have the actual quote if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
He said, his casket should have been launched into a sewage canal. Swine of a man, evil in a way only those who believe in a physical devil can understand.
Jesus Christ. He really did not like this man.
Yeah, he called him the physical manifestation
of the devil. That's you know, pretty powerful words there.
Oh yeah.
But you know, probably didn't hate him that much. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, the lesson in all of that is that even though, like we were talking about before, like, if there's a person you're having a conversation with and you realize that you hate everything about that person, there should be at least one thing that you can bond on.
No, exactly.
Maybe. And be like, I don't know, humane about.
Yeah, or you just kill him.
Or you just kill him.
If you can get away with it.
Or kill him and don't get away with it. I mean,
yeah.
If it's worth it, right?
That's fair.
If you're killing a person, it's probably worth it to go to jail.
Yeah. Or kill them, kill yourself.
Right.
But then you gotta, like, float up with them. I don't know about that.
Or down.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works either.
Yeah.
To the side. It's a lateral move.
Yeah, I think you were right the first time. Yeah, so then after that, like, he followed Nixon and basically until he died. And then he like, in the early 80s, he started releasing the Gonzo Papers, which was, like, it's just, like, his early works, like, the numerous, like, newspaper articles he had written and shit. And, like, that's what I just read this past winter. Like, and it had, like, the Kentucky Derby. It's whatever in there.
Mm-hmm. It's basically just what all old artists do is, like, get their old stuff and be like, well, I'll add more to this.
Yeah, and, like, he started doing that in the 80s, and, like, the last one didn't come out. There was, like, 4 volumes, I think, and, like, the last one didn't come out till, like, 2000, like, shortly before he died. And it's like, oh, dude, like, he knew he didn't have much left in the brain.
Right.
Yeah, but honestly, I would recommend those because, like, you really get to see, like, how he wrote, you know?
Did he ever stop doing drugs?
No, not at all.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say, like...
Not in the least.
Because you said, like, well, in this Kingdom of Fear, he was, like, looking back and he's like, that dude was crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was from, like, a more sane perspective.
Yeah,
or less, like, drug-induced perspective.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, also in this book, he was talking... It was 1990. He got... some woman, like, came to his house and, like, said that he assaulted her. And then he said that she was just there, like, trying to stir him up. Mm-hmm. And that he didn't assault her. He, like, pushed her away. Oh, yeah. And then he ended up winning the court case and, like, filing another court case against the like, DA, like, the prosecutor, basically. Oh, really? And, he ended up, like, filing no contest to that. Oh. But, yeah, they found, like, cocaine when they, like, raided his house after that.
Oh, who would have suspected?
Oh, cocaine. Yeah, so he was obviously still doing drugs.
Right.
I feel like he couldn't, like, even in this book, like, it's like a review almost of his life. Like, he can't go back and say, like, don't. He does have, like, he has a quote where he's like, I would never, recommend, like, violence, drug use, and something else, like, to anybody, but it sure worked for me. Like, I don't,
Yeah, that's true. So I was going to ask, like, if you, in your opinion, if you think all the drugs and everything, like, discredit any of his writing. But the point of his writing is that it doesn't matter whether it's discredited or not, right? You just take it as it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't know. I've never really considered that, but I wouldn't discredit it because it's like it's part of it. Like, I don't think
it's part of it.
Like, I don't think you get Fear and Loathing without the drug use, right?
Right.
And, like, if you don't have Fear and Loathing, then, like, you don't have, like, basically, like, any of the books written after it.
Works, yeah.
Well, not just him. Like, I feel like this, like,
of the Gonzo type.
Yeah, it's, like, honestly inspired, like, a shit ton. But actually, the epitaph to Fear and Loathing, which is, like, the little, like, like, sometimes, like, an author you will put, like, a quote or something, like, to start the book off.
I thought an epitaph was on a gravestone.
I think there's, like, a similar word, like, something, or it could be that one,
and then I'm the other one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's this quote. It says, "He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man."
Oh,
and it's like that's kind of what he did, like by consuming all these drugs, by like throwing himself into his writing, which he could only do. Yeah,
that was the only thing he could do. Or he could only.
He just, like, wrote... So, he threw himself into his writing, right? And in order to do that, he had to throw himself into his drugs. At least from his point of view.
Right.
From his perspective, like, that's what he thought.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I think... So, like, he who makes himself a beast... So, like, I think at least, like, my interpretation is, he's saying he made himself a beast, in a way. Like, especially by the end of his life. I think he's recognizing that, even in, 1972. Mm-hmm. But he got rid of the pain of being a man. And, like... Dude, it's like, I get it on some, it's like an existential threat when you watch, like, the police beating up citizens and journalists, and there's like nothing came out of that. It's not like there was, like, an overhaul of the Chicago Police Department, late 1968. Like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then, like, he watched it fucking happen again 2 years later with, like, the police killing Ruben Salazar. Right. And then, like, that was in L.A., and then, like, less than 20 years later, you have fucking Rodney King in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Who was also killed by L.A. police.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you watch fucking Richard Nixon, like, beat his way to the fucking, the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
You watch Watergate happen. You're like, oh, this dude's finally a fucking criminal. Everyone knows it. All the headlines have it.
Mm-hmm.
And then his vice president, Gerald Ford, comes up and immediately pardons him within, like, 20 days. And you're like, you can pardon someone? He didn't even go to trial.
Yeah.
Like, unless you want to call Congress the trial, like the impeachment, like, what the fuck?
Right. So for Hunter S. Thompson, that was his pain, basically?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I definitely get it. Like, you watch all, like, this fucking, like, establishment and, like, power go to shit, but still hold that fucking power.
Yeah.
And, like, continue to fuck over, like, young people over and over.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know, dude. It fucking hurts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, god damn.
You think about it a lot, yeah. That's the
it's
pain.
like the same, like, when, we're sharing a joint or, like, a drink, and we're just like, the fucking world's going to shit, dude. And it's like, I mean, it happens in times when, like, we're already, like, at a low place mentally or whatever, but it's also like, fuck, like, there's a big kernel of truth in the middle of that.
Oh, yeah,
for
sure. But I think there's different definitions of beasts as opposed to a drug-induced beast.
No, that's true.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you can become a beast in, like, anything, probably.
Yeah.
Probably, as, like, a beast of, like, a football player or, like, a beast of, like... just ambition in general.
Yeah.
You just, like, really get into your ambition, maybe? I don't know.
But I think he's talking, like, it starts with beast, like, who makes a beast of himself, and the end is, like, gets rid of being a man.
Right.
So it's, like, a beast as opposed to a man. It's, like... He who, like, creates an animal, like, who, like, other humans will look at as an animal, which people did.
Yeah.
Well, like, at least he, like, got rid of, like, whatever.
The idea of
the
people
burden,
thinking of him as a man.
Yeah, like, the human condition, basically.
Damn.
And it's, like, that can be a shit ton for, like, he was smart as hell, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it wasn't just the drugs that helped him write. Like, this dude was, like, he created this fucking, like, perspective that's now in, like, every single article you read, every single book.
Right.
Basically.
Well, so that's what I've been reading about in that art and morality class that I've been talking about. It's like there are, like, geniuses, but most geniuses are, like, dicks or, like, evil in some way.
Yeah.
Or just have, like, beat their wives or, like, are just bad people in general.
Yeah.
So it's like, does that discredit their work of art? Probably not. But at this point, it's become so blurred, like, with especially cancel culture and everything.
Yeah, it definitely puts an asterisk on it, It's like,
oh, yeah.
You gotta read, like, the footnotes on it. You're
right. It's just, I think that's what this whole, like, Hunter S. Thompson thing is like, you have to be able to, like you said, it's like, part of Fear and Loathing is the fact that he was on drugs, you know what I mean? So it's like, you read it from that, like, context.
Right.
And, like, take it like that.
Right.
And it's all subjective, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you, like, going into American Beauty, one of the best films of, I mean, I think it's objective. That is a very well-written film and, like, extremely good actors. Yeah. If you go into that thinking Kevin Spacey is, like, a fucking creep, then watching that movie turns into a whole different thing, you know what I mean? And it's not that you shouldn't, obviously you shouldn't support Kevin Spacey, and that's what he did was terrible. Right. I just should say that for the record. But, like, going into that movie and, like, now, like, seeing that now after that, you're just like, damn. So there is a lot going on. There's a lot more going on to it than just the art, It's
oh, no, big, like, dude, Reservoir Dogs. Mm-hmm. I think that's also one of the, like, most well-written movies, one of my top movies, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, without, like, thinking, like, it's a great movie, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And, like,
I mean, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
like,
Tarantino's great.
Yeah.
Like, none of the actors have had any, like, they haven't been canceled or anything, but a big funder of that, and a big funder of every single Tarantino movie was the Weinstein Company.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, it's like this movie happened because, like, somebody was sexually assaulted, no doubt. Like, in this.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Like, I don't know who it was, but, no, not
somebody.
Everybody.
Yeah,
but it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna think about that when I'm watching a dude's ear get cut off. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
True. Well, and I think that's another point about, like, Hunter S. Thompson. How you said it inspired so many, like, better articles of journalism, and, like, it opened up a whole new faucet of articles to read and stuff like that. It's like, there is good that comes from that bad, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, people get inspired by art. That's the point of art, I think, is to inspire people. And if the artist is fucked, then fuck that artist for sure. Yeah. But the art itself, if it inspires good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, I don't know. That doesn't mean that it was like it doesn't mean the artist was good, but it inspired good.
Exactly. That's No. Yeah. So he basically returned to sports writing after what was it, 2000?
Yeah.
So I basically just jumped like 30 years because like he didn't do he was still publishing books, but it was all older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? Fear and Loathing, the movie, came out in like 99, 2000. And so he ended up becoming great friends with Johnny Depp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, and so like he calls himself Dr. Hunter S. Thompson, even though that's not,
He's
like,
not
he has
a
no
doctor.
credentials. Ladies and gentlemen, no credentials whatsoever to go by that name. But he would call Johnny Depp Colonel Depp. So it's like Dr. Thompson and Colonel Depp.
Colonel Depp. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I feel like it'd be he in this book, Kingdom of Fear, he talks a few times about like how like Johnny Depp would travel even crazier than him. So like he'd be like afraid, to like bring a little baggie of cocaine, and then like if he was going on a plane, and then like Depp would come up with like fucking like I don't know, like actual bricks of cocaine,
Yeah, like
and
a
then
pound.
like pills and like cigars from Cuba. And it's like you can't do that. It's like I'm Johnny Depp.
I'm Johnny Depp.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Things that you can do when you have a famous name.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if Hunter Thompson was doing that, like even in 2000, like people probably would have stopped him. Like, look, you haven't done.
You're Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
You were all right.
Yeah, but it's like Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
The pirate movies coming out and shit.
Yeah, bring the coat. You know what? Let me do a line. Come on.
Edward, do the Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. But what the Kingdom of Hearts kind of made me think of.
Kingdom of Fear.
Kingdom of the Hearts. Yeah. Kingdom of Fear made me think of how like he kind of went back and just used his old works and like talked about them. Is like our last episode where we just like had like a piece of work that was like completely drug induced.
Yeah, it's like you can't put that out on its own, but if you like add a little bit,
Yeah.
you add some salt and pepper,
Some salt and pepper. There's something.
you can put something together.
When did he die?
So he returned to sports writing from like 2000 to 2005 for ESPN, and so like they just hired him basically, just cause like we could get him for cheap enough. But yeah, and so on February 20th, 2005, it was 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, and he shot himself in the head with a shotgun.
Oh shit!
Like while his wife at the time was like married 2 years for some reason. Like he was obviously falling apart.
Yeah, something was going on.
Yeah, it was like his assistant. So like, there's something more going on.
For sure.
But yeah, he was like on the phone with her, and she said she hung up. Like imagine that, like she's like, get to work, honey. Like it'll be fine. And then like, yeah.
Damn. Was he tripping at least?
I don't think so.
He was probably on some sort of drug.
Oh, definitely on something. Yeah, so
right. Well, that is sad, but I mean.
Yeah, and then they like the police said on his keyboard it was written February 22nd, 2005. So like he wasn't even like on the same day even. Which I mean,
what was the actual day?
It was the 20th.
Oh.
And then it just the word counselor.
Counselor.
Yeah, which is sad as hell too. Like the dude probably did need to see like some kind of therapy.
Yeah,
therapist.
I mean, obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
like he was gonna. How old was he though? 70.
No, he was like 65.
65.
Wait, I think so. No, I guess he was almost 70. 69. 68.
69. He probably wanted to die at 69. That's a good age. That's yeah.
I mean, he wrote like a piece though, like not a piece, like a suicide note.
An epitaph.
Yeah. And he was like, it was, I don't know, he kind of blamed it on George W. Bush, like being reelected.
Oh.
Because that had just happened, and he was, and it's like, I mean, it's fair. Like, you watch fucking 50 years of like bad presidents being elected, like, and like that's like your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be fucked. Like,
yeah,
I don't know,
that's
like,
true. And like you said,
like I
mean,
said,
obviously, it really that was his pain. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Was the political like endeavors? Or
yeah,
whatever.
and football season was over.
And football season.
So, like, I get that. Like, when baseball is over, I'm
or
just
canceled.
like,
Oh. Yeah, you just want to kill yourself.
yeah, basically.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Well,
so 6 months later, they had his funeral, and the reason it was 6 months later was because in his will, he didn't just like want to be buried or cremated and like put in a vase, because that wouldn't be Hunter S. Thompson.
Right.
And so he made him build like this big ass sculpture of like the Gonzo symbol, which he used as like his his sheriff's race
The
poster.
power.
Yeah, it's like the power fist with like a peyote button in the middle,
Really?
which is like mescaline. Like it's a drug.
Another drug?
Yeah, and so it was cool as fuck in 1970, but then to actually build a statue of it, like 150 feet.
Damn.
And then they put a cannon on top of it to shoot his ashes out.
All right, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, and then Johnny Depp he put that in his will. He wanted Johnny Depp to press the button.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
And did he?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
So there's actually.
What did I skip the? I mean, did I accidentally make you skip the thing that he wrote before, because I said epitaph?
Oh no. I was just saying he wrote this thing like about how it was basically like he was killing himself because of George W. Bush being reelected and also the football season.
Oh, really?
Being over, yeah.
That was part of it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said it was 2 weeks after the Super Bowl.
True.
I was like, damn, I kind of get that. Like 1 week, you're like, oh, like, remember that sporting event was so crazy? And then, like, the next week, you're like, when is that shit coming back? And you're like, oh, it's not for 8 months.
Damn.
Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only thing that was really keeping me day to day.
Damn. Yeah. But that's a good funeral, I think.
Oh, yeah. No.
Damn.
And it's like, yeah, like...
Solid way to go.
Yeah, he,
And I thought my idea for dying was a fun one. Just like my ashes being used as like the glue and sparkles projects for like little kids. Yeah.
You just put it on like what are those called? Like graham crackers and Nutella and then like some weed, you know?
Yeah,
a firecracker.
A firecracker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the end of Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say about him?
Yeah, I had a couple quotes. I was just Ralph Steadman was like one of his longtime friends. He illustrated Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which again, if you haven't read this book, like definitely just get it for the illustrations. Like this shit is wild. Like
Even the first one right up front.
Yeah, look at.
Oh no, yeah.
So my favorite is this is the title page I'm showing him, but my favorite is the actual like first picture in it.
Mm-hmm. I'll upload some of these pictures too, so you can see.
Yeah.
It's just like a guy like hitchhiking, but it's like
he's got a Mickey Mouse shirt on, and it's like
a creepier Shel Silverstein.
Yeah,
for sure.
Huh. Yeah, and the Mickey Mouse has like a swastika on it. Yeah, so Ralph Steadman said that in the 80s, Hunter told him that he'd feel trapped if not for suicide, like if not having that out.
Oh.
And so like
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like 20 years later, like he fulfilled that for sure.
He wasn't trapped.
No, not quite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's about it.
That's about it, man. Well, I mean that we covered the birth and death of
the birth and the paranoia, everything.
Yeah, civilization. Damn.
Yeah, I would just highly recommend checking out any of his stuff. Like even again, like the shorter pieces are probably the best. You could see if you like his style.
Yeah, definitely. You know? And I mean, even Fear and Loathing. Like I haven't read the book, but now I want to read it.
Yeah.
Just based off of like the revolutionary whole thing, history behind it.
Yeah.
Kind of. So. Yeah, dude. I mean, I do want to ask for forgiveness for not asking you how you were at the beginning to start it off. And I should have just said that we're also in a van now. Like, I definitely need to stretch out after sitting here for an hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah, we're in the back of your van. And it's spacey for sure. Like, it wouldn't be a bad place to sleep, but to record a podcast, it's a little cramped.
With two
somehow.
people, yeah, not the best.
Nah, we made it though. I've also heard it's like great recording quality, so I probably shouldn't have said that though. It turns out to be shite.
The back, yeah. Who knows? I don't know. It'll probably be all right, but
yeah. I mean, also like I feel like we all know how each other's doing now, like under quarantine, like
oh yeah,
you know, like everyone's shit.
Everyone's shit. Yeah. How are you doing? Oh shit. Oh cool, me too. So Hunter S. Thompson. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna end her here. Thanks
Sounds
for
good.
doing all that research.
For sure, dude. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, bye.
Making pancakes, making pancakes. Thanks for making it, and I put it into pancakes. Making pancakes, that's what it's gonna be. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes. Making pancakes.
There's nothing you can't.
Making pancakes. Yeah.